So I just want to start out by saying I think we all need, whether we have dysautonomia or not, to learn to give ourselves grace. I loved hearing that earlier. And as a mental health counselor, that's a lot of what I talk with my clients about. And I primarily work with bereaved parents. So, yeah. So anyway, so we're not here to talk about Christina and her story, which is kind of an amazing life the kid had. But her story still is important. And the reason it's important is because it demonstrates the importance of the work of the Dysautonomia Project and other groups that are propelling this movement forward. It shows that things are moving in the direction of hope and that you have a lot to look forward to as patients. So I want you to keep in mind that prior to Christina's diagnosis, and these are just some more pictures. I just thought I got to share the kid because she's so amazing. Prior to her diagnosis, we didn't know the word dysautonomia. Kelly Freeman and I met shortly after Christina's passing, and there was an article in the paper. She read it. She reached out to me, and she said this word dysautonomia, and I said dysautonomia, like it's the autonomic nervous system. Dysautonomia. No, it's dysautonomia. So that's how far things have come. Okay, so she told me how to pronounce it. And I also have to just inject that this family, this Dysautonomia Project family, has been huge in my healing process because they educated me about what was going on with my daughter's body that I didn't know, and that Christina, up until the day her body died, did not know. We had no idea. And why didn't we know? Because the doctors didn't know. They weren't mean doctors or bad doctors or uncaring doctors. They were doctors who didn't know. They had not been educated. And we were seeing, for sure, top specialists here, in the Tampa area in their field. And they had no idea. Yes, not one of them ever said the word POTS or dysautonomia to us, even though I went to them anyway. So I am just so grateful to everything the Dysautonomia Project is doing. And so yes, you guys are already way ahead of where we were when Christina died. And then I'm going to just say that when Christina's body died, because Christina's body died, but Christina's energy, her soul, her spirit, whatever your belief system, didn't die. It just changed form. And that form has allowed me to be her voice. And I would, never have done anything like this. My first speaking engagement after she passed was at Harvard Medical School. That was not who I was. I was a mom and I was a mental health counselor, but yeah. So Christina was larger than life in her life. And she was the one that would have been doing all these things, not me, for sure not me. So in January of 2015, she texted me and she said, my body has finally given up on me. And, for a lot of people, that would just be like a message that their kid sends, but not Christina. Christina had 103.5 fever when she qualified for regionals of the diving champion, whatever thing at MIT. And she had only started diving 2 months prior to that. She'd never been a diver in her life. She was a swimmer at MIT. She learned how to dive, and she was the only swimmer from MIT to qualify. She had 103.5 fever, and she died less than a month later. She was in really rough shape. And I just have to say, as an aside, yes, I'm a mental health counselor, and I've done a lot of work with David Kessler, who's really big in the grief community. And the way he describes it, when someone takes their life, is that he says when someone says, how did your daughter die? She died as a result of her illness. This is if I'm just meeting someone, right? And they say, oh, what was her illness? Her illness was dysautonomia, a failure of the autonomic nervous system. Because you know what? The brain is part of our body. And so our brain is also affected when our body is not working properly. And Christina was the most alive person I've ever met. She pushed herself beyond anything I've ever seen. And so I just wanted to add that we talk about people taking their life, And it's as a result of their illness. So I'm going to move this along. So here we are. So anyway, that's just an example, like an average day with her stomach just bloated after a sip of water in the morning before swim practice. Yeah. And so here we are, 2023. Oh, there's Nesto. She's here. There she is with Christina. But you can see, like, that was a year, and then a year later how thin she was. But that is how she looked when her doctors were telling her she was fine. And she had gotten, I mean, it's beyond imaginable. But the bonus is that each of you guys here or watching are living proof that awareness is improving because you've been diagnosed. Oh my gosh, like that's huge. Yeah, there's education out there. I'm just so grateful that there's so many people working to get the education out there to help patients and people to be diagnosed, and then people, yes,